Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it is spooky season, Halloween is coming up, and I think this is a great time of year to read thriller books. I mean, it's always a great time of year to read a mystery or a thriller, but I think in the fall the atmosphere is just perfect for a twisty, turny read. Now on my channel, I read what I think is a decent amount of thrillers, and it's one of my favorite genres because I think mysteries and thrillers are just so fun to read and also really fast reads that I can get through quickly because I'm just so excited to see the ending of the book. However, a lot of times I complain that I predict the twists in thrillers, and ideally when I read a thriller I want to be entertained and surprised. So I thought for a little change of pace, today in this video I will talk about 5 thrillers with twists that genuinely surprised me. First up in this video, I think I'm going to give a shout out to what I believe was one of the first thrillers that I picked up because of BookTube, The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. This book received so much hype on BookTube when it first came out, and I think for good reason because this book has a plot twist that caught me so off guard I had to reread that part just to make sure that I was processing it correctly. I don't want to say too much about this book because if you haven't read it already and you're at all interested, just go into it and I think that you're really going to have your mind blown by this twist. This is an excellent example of the domestic thriller subgenre, and people that I know in real life who also read this book were equally as shocked by the plot twist as I was. My mom and I read this book back to back and we both just were so excited to discuss this reveal with each other because neither of us saw it coming in a million years. So if you're asking me what's a thriller with a plot twist that just blew you away and was so much you couldn't process it, this is one of the first books that comes to mind. Next up, I want to give a shout out to Goodnight Beautiful by Amy Molloy. Now, this is the thriller on this list I rated the lowest. I gave it 3 stars, so overall, solid read, not one of my favorites. However, I wanted to mention it in this video because this book has not 1, but 2 genius plot twists that I think were so well executed, and Amy Molloy deserves major props for her clever thinking with these twists. This thriller follows a married couple named Sam and Annie who move back to this small town. Sam is a therapist, but what he doesn't realize that there is somebody who is eavesdropping on his therapy sessions through the vent in his office. And that's really all I want to say about the plot of this book. I thought the first half of Goodnight Beautiful was amazing. I flew through it. Now, before I picked this book up, I had heard reviews for it where people were gushing about this book's plot twist. And I do think some of these reviews might have accidentally given a little too much away. So when I was reading this book, I predicted the first plot twist, and I thought, well, great, I figured it out. There you go. That was the plot twist. I got it. But then Amy Molloy sucker punched me with a second plot twist that I did not see coming at all, and I was genuinely mind blown. What Amy Molloy does so well in this book is that she uses the assumptions that you make as a thriller reader against you, and that's why I think these twists were so clever. Definitely worthy of a spot on this list. Next up, the only young adult thriller I want to mention on this list. I don't read young adult thrillers as much anymore because generally speaking, I just don't enjoy them as much as adult mysteries or thrillers. However, I read this a long time ago and I still remember how much the twist shocked me. So if you like young adult thrillers, This is, in my opinion, the best one I've ever read, and that's Dangerous Girls by Abigail Haas. This follows a young woman named Anna who goes on vacation to Aruba with some of her friends from school, and one of her friends is murdered there, and the police think that Anna is the killer. It has a loose inspiration from the real-life Natalie Holloway case, and the twist in this, totally never saw it coming. I remember that I was reading this book on a plane, and to be honest, I don't even remember where I was flying on this vacation, but when I got to the reveal, I didn't know what to do with myself because I just wanted to tell somebody about it, but I was stuck on a plane, couldn't go anywhere. My mom was asleep next to me. There was nobody I could talk to about this. Had no internet connection, so I couldn't tweet about it or anything. And I honestly didn't know what to do with myself because it was one of the best twists that I had read up until that point. So if you like young adult thrillers and you haven't read Dangerous Girls yet, you definitely should. Next up, I wanted to mention another book that I probably never would have read if I hadn't heard all the hype about it on BookTube. Now, this author is extremely popular on BookTube, and to be honest, his books are very hit and miss for me, but I absolutely loved this one, and that was The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. This is my absolute favorite book of his that I have read so far. I have not read Survive the Night yet, and I currently have Home Before Dark checked out from the library, so we'll see how that fits into my rankings, but I loved this book when I read it, and the ending, never saw it coming. This book takes place at a summer camp, and so I think it actually would be a really great thriller read to maybe take on vacation with you in the summer, and it follows a young woman who returns to the summer camp where her cabin mates disappeared many years ago, and they never found out what happened to these other girls. I really enjoyed this book, and a complaint I have with some of Riley Sager's books are that I think sometimes he just takes his stories into directions that I personally find a bit ridiculous, and while the suspension of disbelief was a little high for this one, I still thought it was an extremely enjoyable thriller, one of those guilty pleasure beach reads for sure. So if you've never read a Riley Sager book and you want to see what all the hype is about, I definitely think you should pick up this one, his best book for sure, in my opinion. And finally, I know this book is so hyped on BookTube, and I'm probably not adding anything new or different here with this take. However, this book is quite possibly my favorite adult thriller that I've ever read. I absolutely loved this book, and I recommend it to people I know in real life all the time. And that's The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. This book was fantastic. I absolutely love this. It follows a man named Ted who just found out that his wife is cheating on him, and while he is on a plane, he meets a young woman who says that if he wanted to, she could help him kill his wife. And she's not joking when she says that. It's a concept very similar to the classic book and film Strangers on a Train. However, this story goes in directions that I never saw coming. There are so many twists and turns in the plot that genuinely shocked me. One in particular that happened maybe 50% of the way into the book or so. It was possibly the best twist I've ever read in a thriller in my entire life. I read this book while I was completing my semester abroad, and I was sitting in my room. My roommate was there minding her own business, and when I got to this twist in the book, I didn't know what to do with myself. I could not contain my shock and awe, and so I interrupted my roommate and basically said to her, hey, I need to talk about what I just read, so I know you don't care, but I just need to get this out for a second. And luckily she humored me. So Abby, if you ever see this, you probably won't. Sorry if I was being really annoying telling you all about this book that you had no interest in, but I was just so excited I needed to share my thoughts with somebody at that exact moment. I also think that this book has a really great ending where it's an ending that's semi-open. Not everything is tied up into a neat little bow, but it is at the same time immensely satisfying, and I just loved all the fascinating places this book went. It was definitely a wild ride that shocked me multiple times. The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson is a mystery thriller that I would recommend to anybody who's interested in this genre. It's my absolute favorite. So those are some of my favorite shocking plot twists in mystery thrillers. Let me know in the comment section, what mystery thrillers shocked you that I didn't mention in this video? Let me know and I will check them out. No spoilers, please. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every single Wednesday. My social media links are down below if you want to follow me on Tumblr, Instagram, or be my friend on Goodreads. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope the rest of your day is just top-notch. See you in the next video. Bye!